Hello everyone and welcome to the Transit Nomad family. In this video we'll be exploring Borisova Gradina Park and going over some Sofia Visitation tips as well as Bulgaria travel suggestions for 2025. Before we get started, I'd like to let you know that I'm currently in Sofia, Bulgaria, and as an active traveler and business owner with experience, I might be able to assist you with trip planning, life coaching and business consulting, with all the details available at buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. This is where you can also find lots of exclusive content on many different cities around the world, my secret tips, PDF guides, and the option to request a custom video on any topic that matters to you. With that being said, let's begin exploring this beautiful park. Even though it looks like a forest, technically it is a park. It's a huge park. It's called Borisova Gradina or Gradinka, and it's located very close, fairly close to the city center of Sofia, Bulgaria. As you can tell, it feels more like a forest. It's perfect for hiking, for riding your bicycle, for working out, or just finding some peace within yourself, getting together your thoughts, or reading a book, or meditating. This is definitely a great destination. And if you are a family with children and you want to give them some kind of cool activities, they also have something to offer for kids here too, like specialty playgrounds and things like that. Now, Sofia is often overlooked by tourists. I've noticed that when I was doing my online research before deciding where to go in Eastern Europe, and there was a lot of information about Bulgaria in general, but it was considered more for sea destinations, for Black Sea, or for Plovdiv as the oldest city in Europe. But about Sofia, it was not mentioned as much as I was expecting it to be, because it is the capital city of Bulgaria. And I decided to come here to check it out and see for myself. The main reason why I came specifically to Sofia and why I decided to stay here for a while is because of vintage transit vehicles. They have a lot of really old trams, trains, buses and trolley buses still operating in regular city service in 2025, and this is one of the very few cities in Europe and actually in the entire world where you can find some of the very old vintage transit vehicles, and you can also ride them. So it's like this city is like a big vintage transit museum, and I am a transit lover, and that's why I decided to come to Sofia. That was my main reason. If you are a vintage transit lover, or if you are interested in public transportation and how it used to be in the Soviet times, and you want to check out some of those old vehicles, they also have old trams from Switzerland, from Germany. Sofia is definitely a great place to visit. I've been doing this for several days, for over a week now, and I really enjoyed exploring all kinds of different models. They have a special app that allows you to track these old vehicles, and it's very easy to do so by model name or model number, and you can find the specific tram on the map as it's moving live, and you can hopefully find the right location to hop on and enjoy riding it. And this is going to be an unforgettable experience that's going to take you back in time and help you feel that nostalgia, and I can't recommend it enough. Of course, if you're not into transit, there are also a lot of other reasons why Sofia might be a good place to visit. I would say the number one thing that stands out above everything else is the fact that it does not have so many tourists, and it's mostly locals that are hanging out here, and you can have more space for yourself. It's really a great feeling when you don't have to share your space with so many people, especially other visitors who keep taking photos and doing the same thing. And it's kind of annoying sometimes when you have to wait in line just to take a look at some landmark because it's so crowded. In Sofia, you don't have this kind of problem. You have lots of free space, you have lots of room, and mostly the people who are hanging out here for the most part are locals, maybe 90% locals or something like that, and you can feel this local vibe. If you are curious to see what it's like, or if you appreciate traveling like a local, this is definitely a great destination for that. I don't think I've been to any other place that's as local as Sofia, Bulgaria. Now, some people who think that some Bulgarians are not as friendly, and it's because of the cultural difference. You might feel that way because they are not really taught to smile that much. When they make an eye contact with a stranger, they don't smile that much, and maybe this might come off as a little bit rude if you are coming from the United States, because it's the opposite. Everybody usually smiles to you when they make an eye contact. It's kind of a normal thing to do. Also in Thailand, it's a normal thing to do, but in Sofia, Bulgaria, everybody just has like a normal face, neutral face, and maybe some people might it might appear that they look cold, but it's not necessarily, does not mean that they are rude or they don't like you or they don't want you to be there. They just mind their own business, and it is what it is. It's part of the local culture. Of course, I've seen some rude people too, but I've seen rude people in the United States. I've seen rude people in Asia. I've seen rude people in Western Europe. And yes, there are some rude people in Sofia, of course, absolutely. But it's just a matter of, you can find all kinds of people everywhere. It doesn't have to be only here in Sofia. It can be anywhere else. But generally, I find most people to be friendly and helpful and welcoming, and a fairly large number of people speak English as well, or at least they try, which I also think is a good thing. And so it is a good environment for getting to know new places and feeling like a local. And another good reason to come to Sofia, and my tip, if you want to have a budget-friendly vacation, this is definitely a great destination. It's one of the most affordable cities in Europe to visit for traveling. The prices for accommodations usually start at around $20 or $30 per day, and for $50 per day you can stay in a city center with a good view, with air conditioning and nice furniture and all the basic amenities in a good location, and you can have the whole apartment to yourself, and that's gonna cost around $50 per day. It might be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the season, but generally speaking, it's very affordable. It's also very conveniently located close to the airport, with a lot of cheap flights coming in to Sofia. So it's very easy to get here from Europe with for a fairly low price, and then it's only a 20 or 25-minute bus ride from the airport to the city center, which is very close and very convenient, unlike some other cities that require for you to take a train or a bus or a taxi. And if you are traveling with multiple people, the costs are gonna add up like crazy. So this is a good place for a budget-friendly vacation. I can't recommend it enough. And there are also lots of things to see. I feel like there is a good balance of Western style architecture and Soviet style architecture and other styles, and a lot of different museums and restaurants and galleries, and also nature parks. As you can see, it's actually pretty beautiful, and we are very close to the city center exploring these beautiful places. So there's definitely a lot of stuff to do, even if you're not a vintage transit lover. I would still consider Sofia to be a good destination. Is it really the best place to visit in Europe? Is it the best city, number one city, or in the top 10 city that I would recommend visiting in the world? Probably not. I'll be honest with you. It's a great place to visit, but it's not the best place to visit. It has a lot to offer, but it's not as fun to explore as New York, for example, because New York is a huge city. It has so much to offer. Even if you stay there for a month, you still probably won't see everything. Whereas in Sofia, you can cover most of it in a few days, depending on your pace. It might be a couple of days, or if you like to eat out, it's gonna take longer. So maybe it's gonna take a few days, especially if you want to explore the nature, get out of the city center, get some local vibes. In my case, because I want to ride all the vintage transit vehicles, I reserved more time. a couple of weeks actually, because I wanted to ride all the buses and trams and trains that I wanted to catch. This was something that I was dreaming to do for a long time, to get these specific vehicles in motion and experience riding them. So that's why I'm staying here longer. But generally speaking, I consider it a pretty good destination. It's a very affordable, so you're not losing that much. It's also very comfortable if you are a digital nomad, if you are running your business, or if you work remotely. It's one of the good cities where you can work and explore the city part-time. So you can work for a few hours at home, then go out, take a walk around, see what's out there, then come back home, do some more work, and kind of like do this on a longer term basis, because living here is so cheap. You don't need to feel that you are burning a lot of cash by staying here longer, because the cost is so affordable. So for expats or transit, digital nomads and all of that kind of people, this is definitely a good destination. And speaking of Bulgaria, it's very easy to get from Sofia to Plovdiv by train or by bus, as well as many other cities in Bulgaria that also offer a lot to see. When it comes to Plovdiv in particular, it looks a little bit like, in some ways, it looks a little bit like Rome. It used to be part of the Roman Empire, and it's considered to be the oldest, one of the oldest cities in Europe. And you can see that kind of very, very old architecture, thousands of years old, and it's very impressive. And it's only a couple of hours by train, depending on what kind of train or bus you take, 2-3 hours to get here from Sofia. So you can combine these cities. If you have more time, you can also go out to the Black Sea, or you can take a train from Sofia to Bucharest, which is in Romania, or you can go the other way and check out some of the other countries. You can even go to Greece. So generally speaking, the Balkans, you can combine multiple cities, multiple countries in one trip. Everything is not as close as I wish it were. It still takes time to get from one place to the next place, and it's still hard to cover it all in one trip, but you can still combine multiple cities, multiple countries. For example, me, I'm heading to Bucharest. I'm taking a train in the morning from Sofia, and I'm gonna be arriving in the evening in Bucharest in a few days. That is my plan. So I didn't come here just only because of Sofia. I came here because of all the other countries and cities that are close by. Another thing I wanted to mention is that you don't need to rent a car if you're coming to Bulgaria, or if you're coming to Sofia. Their public transportation is very good and very convenient. The frequencies are awesome. You usually don't have to wait for more than a few minutes to catch a bus or a tram and to go where you need to go. Public transportation is great. I think it's one of the best systems in the world, and a lot of people are using it. If you want to do a lot of nature exploration or see smaller towns, you can use trains. You can also use suburban trains. You can even catch an old Soviet train if you do a little bit of research, which is pretty cool. As a unique experience. But in that case, you might also consider renting a car if you plan on spending a lot of time in between cities or outside the big cities. That might be helpful. I also want to point out that when you travel to Bulgaria, just like when you travel to any other country, if you do a lot of research ahead of time and you book things in advance, it's going to save you a lot of time and money, making your trip a lot more smooth and enjoyable. You can check for price fluctuations using Google Flights, and it's going to give you data on different ticket prices. If you use the Explorer feature, it would allow you to compare different destinations and how much it costs. And you can also use it the other way around and check for origins, where you want to start your trip and how much it would cost to get from A to B. And you can also compare dates, and if you're flexible, you can find some really, really good deals that way, saving a lot of money, and also booking better, more convenient flight time so that you don't arrive in the middle of the night. You don't have to sacrifice your sleep or your comfort. You can still have a peaceful time, and you can stay fresh and focused and productive if you need to work, or if you just want to go out and enjoy your day. You have a lot of energy to do that. I recommend doing a little bit of research and planning everything in the most convenient way, and also in the most affordable way. And Google Flights features such as Explore tool or price tracking, they can be very helpful when it comes to this. And also checking for price fluctuations. I did see a lot of fluctuations when I was booking my flights to Sofia. Another thing I want to mention is to consider alternative routes. If you travel from another city and you add another city like on your way, sometimes it can be a lot less expensive and also fun. For example, for me, instead of flying here directly from London, I went to Brussels first, and I spent a couple of weeks in Belgium exploring different cities over there. And then I flew from Brussels to Sofia, and it cost me a lot less than flying directly from London. Another thing I want to mention is bring your own water. They don't have as many water fountains as I was expecting to see here in Bulgaria. And also they don't have as many toilets as I thought they would have. I don't know what they do. If you are not too lazy, bring your diapers, or just bring some coins so you can pay for public toilets. Toilets at fast food chains, they often require a code, so it takes time to get in, and you don't always know if they're gonna kick you out or not. You can of course go to local restaurants, but not all of them have toilets. If you are a visitor, I find the toilet situation here a little bit challenging. Of course, it's not as much of a problem if you go to parks like this, but if you are in the city, in Sofia, I'm really grateful that I'm staying in the middle of the city, in the city center. I can always go home and take care of my business. But generally speaking, I wish they had more options for toilets. But it is also a problem in Western Europe too. It's a huge problem in Italy. So I can't say that Bulgaria is worse. I think in general, this is one of the main problems in Europe, is the lack of free toilets and the lack of toilets in general. This is not a problem in Asia. This is not a problem, as much of a problem in the United States. Another thing I want to mention is that you can shop at supermarkets, and that's going to save you a lot of time and money. When you go to restaurants, the service is not always very fast, and of course it's not always as affordable, and it's not always as healthy or as clean. If you go to supermarkets, that's gonna give you the highest chance of buying what's good for you, and also knowing what the ingredients are, and also getting a better deal, especially if you go to Lidl, L-I-D-L, or Aldi, A-L-D-I. Those are the chains that offer really good value, and also very good selection of all kinds of food that might be not only healthy, but also enjoyable and affordable. And with that being said, I want to let you know that once I'm done with this trip, I'll be recording my final verdict video comparing Sofia and Bulgaria with other countries and other cities to help you decide if you should visit, while also saving you lots of time and money with practical tips on how to get the most out of your trip. This will be an exclusive video, but you can easily gain access to it by subscribing or donating any amount on buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad, or through the link in the video description below. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. I appreciate you being a part of the Transit Nomad family, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.